Good morning. Captain Coder here. Happy Friday, everybody. We made it. It's Friday. You know what that means? That means tomorrow is Saturday. And you know what that means? That means the day after tomorrow is Sunday. Hang on a sec. Wow, buddy. There you go. Dusty doesn't like when I talk to the box on the wall. He's like, I was trying to take a nap in here. I was trying to snooze and Dad's being loud. But happy Friday. That's right. Happy Friday. Good morning, Mooniz, Rave, Daniel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. It's a beautiful day, and we're going to have a good time. Rave is on an asset art roll this morning. Also, Mooniz got here with the first comment showing up Corfless. Corfless probably isn't even here. Corfless be slacking today. Yeah, but glad to hear you're on an asset art roll this morning, Rave. Did you get that Slay's Tater Chips logo? Is that the art asset we're talking about? Noon where you are, Daniel. Good to know. Good to know. It's 5 a.m. here. It's 5 a.m. here. Mike, happy Friday, my friend. Happy Friday. Good morning. Nice to see you. Thanks for popping in. It's good to have you here. Made some couches and cocktails. Well, those are good places to eat your potato chips, right? Where are you going to eat your potato chips, but on a couch or at a coffee table? Lounging outside the hangar. Nice. Nice. Daniel has one more class left. Well, you got to push through. Get to that end of the day. Get to the end of the day, and then you'll be golden. You'll be golden. Then hopefully, it's your nice weekend. Get to celebrate. Daniel's having a celebration stream this weekend for reaching 150 followers. Is that right, Daniel, on Saturday? It's on Saturday or Sunday. Gonna be streaming some games. Streaming some games as a celebration, which is sweet. Pretty sweet. All right. What are our goals today? We are working on, what are we working on? We are working on SkyDriver, which is a essentially a clone of, well, I hate to say clone because that makes it sound less good, I suppose, but it is a space-esque platformer inspired by Sky Roads. We've got our basics down. We got our mechanics. Just got to put in some levels so we can actually play through it. We got our sticky road. We got our acceleration road. We got our exploding road. We got some cubes. Not really cubes. And there's some obstacles. We got our escape tunnels. All right, so what do we want to get done today? Yesterday, we spent a lot of time getting our level builder so we can define levels in the following way. I want to be able to define levels like this. Have some ASCII based levels, right? So you can define sort of your platforms, the way they're going to look and work in this way. Then we want to be able to read that string in. This is called a string in program. Read that text in, parse it in, and plop that out onto the screen for us. All right, so we got a first version of our level builder class, reading and parsing those in. And we're going to work on getting it rendered to the screen next. So we're going to be working on our level builder controller. So let's do a sign on. Let's see, what did I decide here? And I might change this. But our primary will implement a level loader. Implement a level loader. And then update. So to do this, I need to update all of our prefabs to be a consistent size, essentially one by one, because we want each of our elements to sort of take up the space like one grid cell. All right, so we got 7 lanes and then one by one. All right, so I need to go ahead and update all my prefabs so that they're all consistently sized. Then we're gonna try and implement the level builder controller to actually plop the things into the scene. So it's gonna place them in the right spot and then stretch them out the proper amount. So that's the goal today. If I can get that done, I'll be pretty happy. Today's Friday, today's my long work day. Daniel says, after last class, going to go to the gym. Not sure how exercise will be with an injured hand. Unfortunately, our good friend here, Daniel, our crew member, Daniel, fell down, or I think you tripped while you were walking your dog and injured your hand. I hope it's not too sore. Hope it's not too injured. I hope it's on its way to recovery. So I'm sorry to hear that. It's a good, yeah, that's probably, G, that's some good advice. If you have an injured hand, you could skip exercising with that hand. That's probably the, it's probably the best thing so you don't exacerbate the problem, right? It's probably a good idea. Yeah, you probably don't want to make it worse. So use your best discretion is what I'll say. Use your best discretion. Try not to overdo it. One sec. I want to make sure. There we go. Got my setup over here on my other screen. I got too many windows open these days. Too many windows. Lots going on. All right, let us do this sign on. So over on the Discord, I think everyone's on the Discord. You don't have to be on the Discord. If you're not on the Discord, don't forget to join the Discord if you're not there. Captain Coders Academy, nice little community going. You can ask for help. You can do your sign-ons. We're gonna do a sign-on here. Keep myself honest. This is what we're trying to do. Here's my sign-on for the day. Got to do a sign-off here, so that's okay. Primary goal: implement a level builder. Update our prefabs, be consistent size. That one should be easy. I also want to add in a prefab for none and a prefab for my my cube. A prefab for my cube. So we're gonna do that. Okay. So let's take this over here, and I want to get my prefab. So one prefab I'm missing. So I'm gonna create a new prefab here. Prefab. It's gonna be our obstacle. Okay. And so our obstacle is just gonna be a cube. 3D object cube, right? 1 by 1 by 1 cube that the player can crash into. And underneath it, we're gonna put the basic generic platform. But the generic platform, we're gonna come in, we're gonna make it one, just like a panel, right? We're gonna make it a panel. Let's see here if I can hover over it. Yep, so just a panel. So it's our generic platform. G says, haven't walked much the last few weeks due to my injury. That's right. How's your injury recovering? How's the recovering going, G? He says, not that I can't use my leg, but if I do, the bandages slip too much and it's annoying. That's rough. Rape says, my ADHD is so bad, halfway through writing the sign-on, I'd be changing the sign-on. That's the whole point of the sign-on, is keep you focused. Keep you focused. Keep you making progress on, the idea is you have a big to-do list somewhere. So your ADHD kicks in, you go, oh, I got to add that to my to-do list, right? Look, ADHD, do what you got to do. This is just how my brain works. Or actually, without my to-do list, I don't get anything done. Without my to-do list, I don't get anything done. So like the sign-on is like, all right, if we're gonna be consistent, we do this to make ourselves, keep ourselves focused, and we look at it frequently. And you'll know, you guys have been here. All of you have been here enough to know that I get sidetracked very, very easily. And so it's nice to have that there as a way to try and keep myself honest. Then you do a little bit of reflecting at the end. Say, did I get that done? Did I do the things I needed to do? If the answer is no, how are you going to do it better the next time? Daniel says, maybe I'll just skip group training and go for a walk. That's not a bad idea. Get some exercise. Oh, and then he says, at least get some exercise. Hopefully won't trip and bruise my other hand. Oh yeah, don't trip and bruise your other hand. That would be unfortunate. Hopefully you won't. All right, so I wanted to take this generic platform and I'm gonna put it under our obstacle. All right, so it's gonna be in here. And the idea is the cube, put it next to it. The cube, where'd the generic one go? Went somewhere weird. The idea is that the cube still wants to look like it's on top of it, right? So place the platform 0, 0, 0, and the cube just rests nice and on top of it. Did I manage to get that like perfect somehow? Not quite. I think it should be 0.5. 0.5 would be the perfect height, right? point, I think 0.51, 2, 0.5. I think it's 0.5. 0.5 plus the half the height of the generic thing. So that's plus 0.5. Yeah. That'll get it perfectly on top of it. All right, and so then when we scale this, it scales them both that way. Okay. So I need to go through and update all of these prefabs to be scaled appropriately, scaled properly. So the regular scale is 1, 1, 1 on all of them. Can I create an empty parent? Create empty. Set as default parent. No. Moon is someone who knows Unity prefabs better than me. Is there a way to change the top level object in a prefab to be a different object? Or do I have to start over with a new prefab? G says, thanks, I'll be doing a short walk in an hour. So I'll not be here long day. No worries, no worries. Unpack and repack. So I can't do it while editing the prefab though. Not in the prefab view. I'd have to be here. And then in my obstacles, I'd have to just make a new one. Well, so here's the thing. Here's what I want. So my obstacle here is using generic. My obstacle here is using generic. I still want it to use generic, but I want to create a new. I don't want the cube to be the top level. So I got to like remove everything here, right? That's essentially what I got to do. That makes sense. All right, so we just remove. Yeah, so we're gonna duplicate generic, and then we just delete everything off of it. Is there a nice way to just delete everything off of an object? Can I, or do I have to go through one by one? Not too many things here, so it shouldn't be too horrible. 1, 1, 1, and then this just becomes 0.1 here, like that. Yeah. So I think that's like the way to do it. And so it's gonna be the Jarek, and then so we'll just say this is the cube. Gotcha. Well, this I was just wondering if there's like a nice way to swap them out. And maybe there's not. That wasn't too much work, but you could imagine having a top level object that had like a zillion things on it. Thanks, Mooniz. I appreciate it. Daniel says my friend said that he'll be streaming morning, but he didn't either. He went to sleep because it's morning here, or it's night where he lives, Costa Rica, or forgot. He probably overslept or just had some business to attend. Maybe he'll be live today and this afternoon. Well, I hope so. Sometimes the body needs rest. And I hope wherever your friend is, that they're doing well and they're having a beautiful day. That's the best I can hope. All right, so then our obstacle should be good. Okay, and the default position, let's set this to 0, 0, 0. Whee! Okay. All right, that's not too bad. All right, let's come in. We got to do this for each one of these now. Duplicate and then top level. Remove. All right, top level component 1, 1.1. When it says having a good approach to creating prefabs, like not putting anything on the top to make sure you never have to do that. Yeah, exactly. So I should start by creating, you know, as you've noticed, my prefab, I try to say, okay, well, the top level thing, this is sort of how I call this like my API here. I try and use the class-like following, or like my public values, things I want to be able to interact with should be here, and things I don't want to be able to interact with should be sort of hidden inside. For the most part. Pokemon Infinite Fusion, Daniel says. You can probably guess what the main mechanic is. Pokemon Infinite Fusion. Is it... So maybe I'm, you know, I could probably guess. You might think that Daniel's laughing at me though. You could probably think that it's a Pokemon game about fusing Pokemon together, maybe. So normally Pokemon though, they like evolve. I haven't played any of the new Pokemon, so forgive me, But ooh, look at me. The name says it all. It's a good name then, right? Our exit tunnel. All right. We're gonna do this. Kill those. 1, 1. All right, hang on. 0.5, 0.75. All right, we're gonna copy 0.5, copy 0.5, 0.5, 0.75, 0.75. All right, then we're gonna scale this back to 1, 1, 1, 0, 0. Blap, blap, blap. Focus. It's a fan game. Oh, gotcha. That's why I never heard of it. Also, for what it's worth, you know, I haven't played a whole lot of Pokemon games, but I loved Pokemon Red's kind of like the last game. All right, we're gonna remove generic real quick. We're gonna add that back in. This is our exit tunnel, our tunnel collider. So the way I feel about this is that we need to have the, you know, tunnel controller script or something up here to handle the on exits, because it's the top level spot. So we'll deal with that later, but that's a thing I want to do. We're gonna call this tunnel. It's our collider. And then since I want to be able to add things to this, I'm gonna add a script at the top level to be able to access it. And it'll probably be called like our exit tunnel controller or listener, something along those lines. Okay. But I also want to add into, well, really I should be editing my tunnel. Hang on, let's go to my tunnel prefab. My exit should have the tunnel in it. So these are all the same. So I'm doing this in the wrong order. Let's fix our tunnel first. Oh, fascinating. Tunnel doesn't have all the interesting tunnel generic center collider. Okay. Oh, there it is. All right. 0.5, 0.75, and 1. And then we'll change this to 1, 1, 1. 0, 0. Zoom. Remove all of this. Oh, remove. Perfect. Okay. And our generic here on the inside, not inside scaled, we'll pull that out and we make it 1, 1, 1, 1. And then we sort of we're gonna put our tunnel positioned on top of it. That's looking out much better. So our tunnel here should be positioned, I think. It's interesting because it's, all right, so our tunnel does need to get squashed just a little bit more. This is interesting. I think it's actually okay for our tunnel to bleed over a little bit. We'll have tiles next to it. I think this is okay. We'll see. We will see. So like we can do some math. It's 0.75 times 0.5. Should be that not right? It's not quite the height. Minus, I guess we can always just eyeball it. I was hoping to do the math a little bit here. Daniel says that the Pokemon Fusion game, it's based off Pokemon Fire Red, but with a bunch more features and Fusion, of course. I always really liked Fusion stuff in Dragon Ball Z. I thought that was cool. I think I'm okay with the tunnel for now. We can shimmy it around a little bit more. Devro, welcome to lurk mode, my friend. Happy to have you here. Jenna says the game has over 176,400 different possible fusion combinations, and every Pokemon from generations 1 and 2 with their evolutions, as well as 101 Pokemon from generations 3 to 7. That's a lot of combinations. That's almost the same number of combinations of blizzards you can get from Dairy Queen. Maybe even more. Maybe even more. All right, so then our exit is actually just a tunnel. All right, sorry. Oh, yeah. Hang on. Undo. And then we have the exit controller. Yes. So I'm gonna put in our just a tunnel. So it's gonna have a tunnel in here. It's the same as a tunnel. Come on. Come on. Can I not add a prefab to a prefab? Hello. There we go. So it's just a tunnel, but the tunnel has a exit. Oh. Well, what's the difference between an exit tunnel and a center tunnel? Not much. I knew I could, Mooniz, I just couldn't get it to go. I just had to try harder. I had to get good. No Dairy Queens in Lithuania. I worked at a Dairy Queen when I was like 14 and for 2 years when I was 14 and 15. Apparently, I don't really even need it. The only thing that's really going to be different here is that the exit's going to have something special. So I honestly don't know if I actually need an exit, but yeah, let's make a tunnel variant. So what do we do here? Hang on. What do we do here? Tunnel. So can I do create? Is there a prefab variant? All right, so I got to right click on this, I bet. Create prefab variant. Ooh, there we go. We'll call this tunnel exit. Jackie, my friend, welcome back. Log4Jackie. Welcome back. Welcome to the crew. Welcome aboard. Happy Friday. How you doing? How you doing? Love. You always have the best emojis, man. Those emojis, every time something new. You and Daniel have the best emojis. I love them. All right, so our exit tunnel. We'll figure out what that's gonna do. For now, it's identical. Call this exit. Ooh, there's all Daniel's emojis, like clockwork. I'm doing fantastic, Jackie. Thank you so much for asking. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. All right, our boost platform. We're just having a good old time. Oh yeah, no, hang on. I wanted to do not that. Boom. And then we're gonna remove all of the parent components. We're making some good progress. We're making some excellent progress here. And we're happy as a clam. Did you know that clams are happy? That's why they say happy as a clam. Which is always has always been an interesting thought to me. So I never considered clams particularly happy, but it makes sense. It makes sense because nothing bothers them. Nothing bothering a clam. All right, 0, 0, 0, 0. All right. Ooh, I love the Vivi, or the Dark Mage. It might just be the Dark Mage, but I always think of Vivi from Final Fantasy IX. I guess it's really it's the Dark Mage from Final Fantasy 1. Our sticky platform. Kingdom Hearts. Good game. Good game. Classic. Okay. All right. Did we get that going? All right. If we go back to our regular game scene now, everything's going to be Interesting. Interesting. Platforms. Oh, those ones didn't use. All right, so then this one, if I make it 20. So yeah, all of our platforms shrunk. What if we make them 20? Hang on. Make them all 20. It sort of goes back to the way things once were. That is Vivi. Yeah, so Vivi's based off the Dark Mage from Final Fantasy 1. At least, you know. Final Fantasy 9. Final Fantasy 9 is the one with Vivi. That's like unpopular opinion, but Final Fantasy 9 is one of my, maybe my favorite Final Fantasy game. All right, sweet. Sweet, okay, we have that. Let's do a commit. We're gonna save that. Oh, we want one more. I know it seems weird. But we're gonna do one more, which is the Nun. The Nun platform. And the Nun platform is gonna have no... I still want... Yeah, it's just gonna have a box collider. And I know this is gonna seem weird, but it's gonna make sense. It's gonna make sense, I promise. It's gonna make sense. It's gonna have a box collider, so we want to be able to detect when we've gone off of something. So we do have a Nun platform, and what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna put a and they're all gonna end up being triggers, but we're gonna end up putting Boone is my favorite Final Fantasy game is Diablo 2. Diablo 2 is a pretty good Final Fantasy game, I must admit. I had no idea it was in that genre. Yeah, most people. So Final Fantasy 9 was like right at the end of the PlayStation 1 era. So I don't think a lot of people played it, and it was sort of like turn-based. So things tended to move a little bit away from the traditional JRPG with turn-based combat. I loved the like item level up system in Final Fantasy 9. I loved it. And this story was just okay. But as a kid, it was awesome. Corfless, happy Friday, my friend. We were discussing you earlier. Mooniz got here with the first comment. So we were sad that I was a little sad that you weren't the first commenter. Just a little sad, but I'm happy you're here. I think Corfless might be my biggest fan, which makes me very happy. Corfless has been here since the days of yore, pre-C Sharp. You might have been here pre-C Sharp actually. Corfless, were you around when I was doing my the World's Worst blog? Were you here pre-C Sharp? But Core's been here since the beginning. AOC stuff, gotcha. Core's been here since the beginning. Pre-Unity, which I appreciate. But yeah, happy Friday, Core. Nice to see you. Oh, I was gonna do a commit. All right, I got my platforms here. We're gonna do a commit real quick in my platform database. My Nun. I was gonna get this Nun. Generic boost platform sticky exit. Excellent. Daniel says, Smab, you're new here. Hi. Yeah, Smab and Core have been here since the dawn of time. Well, the dawn of the time of the captain on Twitch. But Daniel is saying, but soon I will be playing all the Final Fantasy VII games because it was my channel point goal and it was reached. Nice. Final Fantasy VII. Interestingly enough, my first exposure to Final Fantasy VII was on there was a PC version of Final Fantasy VII that I had. And if I recall, it had like no sound and none of the 3D models were in it. I'm sure I did. Oh, Daniel says, I haven't played many Kingdom Hearts games, only Final Fantasy 9, I think that's it. 5, 6, 7, 8. Final Fantasy 8, Dissidia. Core, what should the lurk command say? What does it do? What does lurk do? Just saying welcome to lurk mode? I don't know. What would the lurk command do? We could make it where if you spend points, you know, when you go into lurk mode, it costs you a little bit of points, but then it gives you more points in the long run. Should time you out for 10 minutes, Moonness. If you lurk, you get banned for 10 minutes. All right, you want to lurk? You're gonna lurk. You're gonna lurk. That's funny. All right, let's do a little commit here because we got all of our prefabs reconfigured. Voluntary naughty step. All right, so chore refactor all prefabs to be 1 by 1 by 1. Commit push. All right, with all of them 1 by 1 by 1, I should more easily be able to use my level builder controller. Level builder controller. And level builder is a bad name. This should become like a level, maybe level builders right now, I'm not sure. Moonness says, some people have a channel points option where they can ban themselves for a day by using points, and people use it. I've never understood that. I think maybe, you know, some people love to feel a little bit of pain, I suppose. Oh, I think, look, look at me making a goal that's nice and easy to reach for once. Nice and easy to reach for once. We got that one done. And for being here to witness it, 50 points to Gryffindor. 50 points to everyone. 50 points to everyone. Daniel says, one of my favorite streamers has made it so when you use lurk, it says, Day's name is lurking now. Quickly get him a pillow. And then you can use pillow to give a pillow. Ooh, that's a cute thing. I really want, and so maybe I'll do this as my next project. I do want to make a Twitch bot. I do want to make a Twitch bot, so it might be fun to develop the Twitch bot live, or it could be very dangerous. One of those two things, maybe both. But yeah, I've been I'm reaching close to having everything I need for this class. So I think it would be cool to develop a Twitch bot while streaming on Twitch. Samantha says, channel points are generally a waste of time, so there are stupid ways to get rid of them. Yeah, I could just have a flush command. I could do a flush, a flush, and then you type it flush 5000, and it will just play a big toilet flushing sound, and then watch your points go down the drain. I don't think it would be that hard to make a bot. Like that hard to start a bot, and then there's lots and lots of commands you could do. Developing a Twitch bot on Twitch is dangerous. Lots of keys that might be leaked, especially if you authorize it for your own channel. That's true. Well, I would probably just develop an IRC bot first, right? And then you connect it up, keep things hidden. I would be very careful to keep, well, I say I would be very careful, but then again, I am a fallible human like the rest of us. That's a good idea. That's a good point. So I should probably do it as a IRC bot first, right? And then just connect it to Twitch. So I'd be developing in sort of a quote unquote safe mode. It's an interesting, good point. Not an interesting one, a good point. All right. Give me just a second here. 20 seconds. All right, I'm back. Okay. Smab, I remember, you know, I love IRC. I used to, for the longest time, just used like a terminal-based IRC for years and years. I was very resistant to Slack and Discord. Very resistant to Slack and Discord, but I've taken the plunge. Ooh, maybe what I should do is I should make an IRC, Captain Coder IRC, and just have my, like a Discord, you know, bot that sort of talks between the two. That would be interesting. Yeah. That said, I would like to build sort of a custom bot for my channel because nothing quite... It's a lot of work. It'd be a lot of work actually to make it do all the things I want it to do. It's nice to have something like Stream Elements or Nightbot just sort of take care of the majority of the work for me. All right, so now we got our level builder controller. And let's take a look here. Level builder controller. I don't like that I have it in my database, my platform database. I actually think this, this should be out here. All right. This should be like a private place platform that takes in a platform, and really the get platform from our database should just have a platform type and be very, very stupid. Stupid's not the right word. Very, very simple. And do this. And what would be maybe a fun little exercise would to actually be... Platform type does not exist. Oh, just type. A fun little exercise would be to make our platform database indexable. This returns an entry. Yeah. Make this thing indexable. Really, this should be a game object. Dot prefab. I've done it before. It's not that hard, but I should probably make my platform database indexable so I don't have to call this get thing here. Which would be nice. Smab says, oh, not Smab. G says, still there's things like buffer overflow or bot spamming. Yes, yes. Moon has also mentioned, oh, there's a bunch of people. I missed a bunch of stuff here. G says, I made an IRC bot in Python. Nice. Moon is development of Twitch bot is dangerous. Oh yeah, I did respond to that. Watch out for Twitch keys. In case bot incident, I sent you a link on your recommendations. Core, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the recommendation. Moon is, Twitch has a different API than a normal IRC. It's a very custom IRC server. Okay, all right, but connecting to, okay. Anyway, good to know. Good to know. I was not aware. Gee, but there's still bot spamming. Smam. For those that don't know, that's the /me command. Ah. G has no idea how IRC works. Sarcasm. IRC bot for Twitch, but I don't have an IRC server to serve it. I used to put it in my Pi, but I don't use the Pi anymore. Gotcha, gotcha. That might, yeah. Maybe I'll set up an IRC server to play around with it to start out. Maybe, probably not. We'll see what happens. I still do want to do a physics-based game. Oh, I did decide that the physics, decide is a strong word. I think the physics-based game I want to do is going to be based off a board game called Crossbows and Catapults, which I had when I was younger. I have no idea where it is. I suspect it's in my closet at my, my dad's house. But Crossbows and Catapults was, let's see if we can get some images here. The physics-based board game uses rubber band and little catapults. All right. Can I just get an image here? All right. Here is Crossbows and Catapults. All right. This is part of it. Let's see if we get all the pieces. But each player has these like Lego-esque blocks that they stack up, and you have like a castle that you get to put on the board, and you have some flags. You're trying to knock over the flags and defeat all the other players' soldiers. So I think this would be really, really fun. And then you have two different types of physics. You have you're launching these like little circular things. I think this could be really, really fun. And then you have these little catapults that are rubber band powered in the game. And so we'd have these little catapults that you can like decide, you can place them, rotate them, and decide how much power they're gonna launch with, right? So you have the catapults, and then you also have a crossbow which fires straight ahead. You can still rotate it and decide how much power, but it doesn't launch it up and over. So I think this will be a really, really fun little project, but using, if I want to explore physics, right? Physics with an F, this will be fun to do. But that's for my physics game. I think I want to do that. So essentially 3D Angry Birds a little bit. Okay. We got our platform database. This becomes our, still giving back a game object. I probably want to come up with some sort of tag script for platform. That's okay for now. Game object prefab is equal to database.get platform.type. And then this becomes prefab, and this becomes platforms container. Length column. So I think this is, the position will still need to get worked out, but let's take a look and see how this all compiles. For each platform, we call place platform key. And this can be a void. Gee, it seems StreamElements lets you add custom commands. Probably too much work for me though. Python is much easier. The downside with the StreamElements commands is they're not particularly programmable, right? So they're not particularly programmable. I can't put like a script in it that's something interesting. For example, it'd be nice to have like a lurk, and then, you know, someone's lurking, and then if they type something that says, "Hey, I thought you were lurking," you know, and then, you know, penalized for not unlurk. So there's a lurk command and an unlurk command. I think that would be a fun little thing. Like if you go into lurk mode, that's fine. And you start talking, be like, "Hey," you know, the little bot say, "Hey, I thought you were lurking." Whereas if they do an unlurk, you could have some little things that's been, so-and-so has been lurking for, you know, this amount of time. I think that would be a fun little toy thing to do. I should probably just find a Twitch or an IRC bot that lets me write scripts for it. That's really what it comes down to. But like I said, I think it might be a fun programming exercise to write an IRC bot. My students really like Discord though, so I think I might do a Discord bot might come first, because my students are on Discord all the time. They might really enjoy the idea of writing learning how to write a Discord bot. Yeah, very few use IRC these days. All right, let's see how this works. I'm gonna fall off into the abyss, perhaps. Okay, that's not horrible. It did. Oh, that's nice. Look at that. So it did place all the things that we placed in our scene. All right, so our level builder is essentially working reasonably well. It's just the positions don't work the way we want. So right now we are drawing this level onto the screen, and the positions just aren't right? So it scales them up properly onto the scene. Really all we got to do is our camera's position, our main camera position, we need to shift our camera over to 0, 1, 2, 3. Is that right? 3. And then our player should start at 3. What's that look like? There we go. Now we're in the center. Oh yeah, our none our none doesn't work the way we want. Oh. Okay. All right, so we're gonna do some maths, or as Moon would like to say, some maths with an F. Fritz Stream Tools. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, Discord has sort of taken over. They got it right. Essentially, they I think there's all, you know, with anything like that blows up like Discord did, it's like right place, right time, but they also managed to do something really right. So Discord makes it so you don't have to download. So with TeamSpeak, someone had to sort of run a server for you. So I feel like, and maybe the early days of Discord that wasn't the case, but Discord combined all those things in a nice way. I used to run a TeamSpeak server. I remember when I played EverQuest, and then what was the other one we played? The DC Universe Online, and then Diablo 3. I had like a guild, and I ran the TeamSpeak server for us. And that seemed to work fine, but there was sort of a lot of, you know, technical. You kind of had to be semi-technical to get it doing. Discord's just so easy to get up and running. Mooney says, I used a Ventrilo server, but only for my friends when we were playing CS. I forget what CS is, it was like CSGO. I'm not a big first-person shooter player. Gee, I don't mind using IRC, but I do have a very empty Discord just to add bots to. Yeah. That's the way you do it. Okay, so now we got to sort of the actual positioning of these on the Z is we need to take, I'm pretty sure it centers them, right? So it's based off the center of it. So the position should be the, all right, so we got to sort of do some math to calculate the center. So this is going to be our Z. It needs to actually be our length. And we got to turn this stuff into floats. So we got to be careful here. It's going to be our length divided, or times, Moon has taught me this, times 0.5f. So this is like our shift, right? So we need to shift halfway. So I believe it's our platform dot start position plus, is that it? Is that really all we got to do? For some reason I thought the maths were going to be much harder. Moon is CS 1.6. That's this was like 20 years ago. What does CS stand for? What does CS stand for? I forget what it stands for. G says, I added a bot that tells me what free games is available. Ooh, what free games on where? On what platform? Counter-Strike. There we go. Counter-Strike. I knew it stood for something. It wasn't computer. In my mind, I was going like computer science. Every time I see CS, I think my brain just goes computer science. Was it that easy? Ooh. Oh, that was unexpected. Oh man. Okay, I actually think we might have that. This may have been way easier than I thought it was going to be, which is really cool. The downside is our level scales a little bit strange. So like drawing the levels out is going to end up with like these really, really long files. I guess we still need to load them from other places, right? So we want to load it from resources. All right, so let's see if we can get it to load level 1 from a resource, or have it specify a level. So we're gonna have a private text asset level data. All right, let's try this. This is gonna, and I think this should be really, really simple as well. So when we wake up, we're going to just take our level data.text, right? I don't even, this is dumb here. Level data.text. This is going. That's probably true. That's probably true, Moonness. from file name. Yeah, so we want to be able to specify a file name. Although, yeah. Yeah. All right. We're going to make this be... Part of me feels like it's like nicer to have it be a text asset and then it's harder to get wrong. And so that's a thought. Oh, and apparently that's not actually a text asset. Oh, because it's not a .txt. All right, so we'll do it from, here we go. We're gonna say string level file name. And we're gonna load it from resources. So then we'll do that load from file level file name. And the file name is level data level 1 dot sky SDR. Easy. No. Got an error. Hang on. Shouldn't resources is a magic folder. Resources is a magic folder. Level 1.sdr. Copy path. One sec here. Copy path. Do I have to put resources in there? All right, let's do a quick look. Maybe I just had a typo. No. Let's take a look here. See what's going on. Level file name. It's right here. It text asset, yeah. We'll do a quick debug to find it, but I'm pretty sure text asset is null. And it just might be that it's not a text asset. It might just be a file. Right? So it's probably not a text asset. So it doesn't know how to load this up as raw text or something, which is interesting. The question is, do I have to call it, does the file name have to end with .txt for it to be a text asset? Where's my browser? Unity load text asset. Yeah, has to be one of these formats. So can I just load something without that? It's because the extension's SDR, which is a little bit silly. If I change it to .txt, it would be fine, I think. Unity load text file without .txt extension. See what this post from 12 years ago says. Use system.io. All right, so a bogus fix. Here's one from not too long ago, 3 years ago. Can load strings from JSON text, I know, but can I import any resource as a string? In my case, I have a .dae file. Parse text, is there a way to do it without that? No replies. All right, so the hack way to do it would be to make it a JSON. Let's rename this file. Could make it a JSON with just a string inside it, but that feels awkward. We'll level1.txt. That's why I couldn't drag it into the inspector when I had it as a text asset as well. So now, if I do .txt, do I have any, real quick. Do I have? What I'll probably do is just, yeah, I kind of want it to be a custom text file because I want people to be able to write it out as ASCII really easily. But I might end up doing maybe something like YAML or an array, because I'm thinking I might want to do something a little bit more interesting to make it easier to draw longer maps. All right, so, but just to test it out, let's do this. Where are we stopped? Get rid of that debug. Still had an issue. Do I just put level 1 without the .txt there? Well, I mean, it'd still be really wide, right? But you're right, I could do that. No need to set the extension. All right. There it is. All right. Okay. Tunnels are a little bit funky. That was interesting that a tunnel. All right, that still worked. All right. So let's make a little bit longer level. Let's open up our level 1. You're right. I could go vertical, and it would be sort of the same thing-ish, I believe. There's a couple things I still need to do. All right, so that was pretty easy. So I'm gonna get place platforms insane. We're gonna play around with it some more though. All right. I'm gonna real quick save and commit this. Beach, level, builder, controller, places, platforms. When you say I'm starting a bit too forward, my player starts at position 2 rather than 0. Yeah, so I just need to set my player's start position to 0. All right, G, have a beautiful day, my friend. Take care. Take care. That's interesting. Should we just start at 1 then? Sort of start in the middle. Yeah, so then point 0.5. There we go. All right. But notice there's like these little bumps. Sometimes hard to see, but there's like little bumps that I hit sometimes between the platforms. So what I want to do is actually put down one big one big rectangle collider for my platform, and change all of my tunnels, all of my underlying platforms to be triggers that sort of float above it, and those can turn. So when you hit a none, it actually just turns off the big platform and you fall through it. So I think that's how I'm going to solve that, unless someone has a better idea. I think that will actually be better. There'll be fewer colliders, but notice how sometimes I sort of like hiccup between them. Same with going forward. Sometimes you like hiccup in between them. So I think I'm gonna put one big platform across them. All right. and get, so in my prefabs, in my platforms, the underlying thing here actually is this is, all of these are going to be triggers. Okay. All of these will be triggers. Oh. Oh, not that one. Hit a none sound is a bit bad if taken out of context. You hit an empty, you know, when you go over a none platform. But yeah, so like in these ones here, my generic actually doesn't even need a box collider anymore. So I can remove it. So my generics won't have a box collider. That's interesting. These platforms will have them, but they're going to be triggers. Fire platform is trigger. So we're going to do a little bit of refactoring here. That should make it so that why did that not go through? Prefab, overrides, revert all. Okay. Why does that have it? Tunnel. No overrides. Remove. And then our none. These are all triggers. This one, we're gonna make it so that the big platform disappears when we enter it. So these can all actually, the platform needs to be a little bit taller. Right. Let's go with 2. And I also wanted to make the actual platform you're riding on be kind of thicker so you couldn't phase through it. I think it'll fix the problem where we were like falling through the ground if we came down too fast. So we're gonna move it up like this. Copy component. So we're gonna put this on each one of these. Paste component values. Yeah. All right, so there's gonna be some refactoring we have to do here. This one doesn't. Why does generic? I thought I got rid of it. All right, so. Our cube here we can still crash into. I need to make this into something we can place. Tunnel. Oh, I keep like not double clicking on them. Okay, so these feel good. Smab, there are AAA games I play where you can fall through the ground with enough force. I know. I've played many games where you fall through the ground. In this case, we're gonna add in a ground collider that is just like pretty thick. It's gonna be a thick boy. Yeah, so here in our, rather than our obstacles, it's gonna be part of our level builder, I believe. We're gonna create a empty component. It's gonna be like our ground collider, and it's going to have a box collider. And it's essentially going to get, at the beginning of the game, it's going to get resized to take up the entire size of the grid. So the size here should be 7. No, not there. Our 7 wide. Right? And then it'll be positioned negative 0.5. Is that right? And then just sort of go the entire length of the map. So we resize it to be so we know how long the entire map is. We can get the bounds and we just put it across the whole thing. And the idea is when you hit one of the none, when you hit a none, the ground disappears and you fall into the abyss. That's my idea. To give us some smoothness. All right. And to do that, our nuns need to have in a script. So we're going to add in a script to our nuns. Controller. Should really make a folder called platforms. Put it in there. And it's going to be our new. It's going to be our nun platform controller. And it's going to be really, really basic. Exactly, Smab. If you hit a nun, you get consigned to the abyss. Don't run over nuns. You want to jump over nuns. You want to steer around nuns. You do not want to hit a nun because the abyss will consume you. The abyss will consume you as your punishment. Nun platform controller. All right, so our nun platform controller. Base says on collision stay. We're gonna send a message saying that we've hit it, and we can sort of attach that there. Either that, or we can register our. Ooh, that might be a better thing. Is have this be aware of the box collider. Yeah, I actually think that's a better idea. So this is gonna have a public box collider. Here, let's get this to build real quick. It'll be a little weird because if you like edge into it, we sort of need to make sure the whole object is above it. So there's going to be some weirdness where if you just like bump it, you'll fall through. So we have to, I think, shrink the hitbox a little bit to be. There's a trick we got to do. There's going to be a trick we got to do, but I think this is how I'm going to do it. Because if you're just on the edge, it'll cause it to disappear and you'll fall into the void. But we're gonna play around with it, get it working to where sort of I think we shrink the collider down so that sort of, you know, in the center. If you're close enough inside of it, you go into the abyss. Something. We'll figure it out. Nun platform controller. Okay, so this is going to need a public box collider, round, level ground, and we have a get and a set, so we can set this thing. And so the idea is if you're on the collision, the ground dot hello? Where are my methods? Where did they go? Where ground dot what? I just want to disable you. So I think it'd just be ground dot game object dot set active false. This is fascinating. ambiguity between none, ground, and my brain is hurting. Hang on. This is not a real error. This is a lie. I think VS Code is very confused. Right, we're gonna try the following. Do you ever get those phantom errors? It's one of the things that VS Code is a little bit interesting. Get phantom errors. It's the phantom of the IDE. All right. I don't got any problems. Okay, so we set it to deactivate, and then we're gonna do a private void on. We actually on collision exit ground.gameObject.setActive true. All right, so when you're not in it, it turns it back on. That's the idea. That's the idea here. Is we're gonna get that in our level builder. That means, all right, so in our level builder, hang on, our level builder controller. Level builder controller, we need a reference to the ground. Okay, so we're gonna do private box collider ground, serialized field. All right, so we're gonna get our box collider, and that's gonna add it into when we have all our nuns there. So our level builder happens to have our box collider here. When the level boots up, we sort of need to maintain our min and our maxes, so like our whole bounds here. All right, private void build platforms. Build platforms. Right, private void clear platforms. Clean this up a little bit. Make it a little bit more readable. In our build platforms, we can keep track of sort of our bounds. So we're gonna say int max position. Started at 0, and as we go through each of our platforms, we're gonna set max position is equal to p dot start position plus length. P dot length. And this will be math.max max position, comma. And I guess we can do a math f. All right. Which is what Unity Engine provides us. Otherwise, I'd have to do system.math, which is probably fine to do as well. But we already have Unity Engine in there. We get the max position. And then after we've placed them all, we're going to extend our platform to take up the whole space. So this would be our ground dot extents. All right, size. Okay, so we got to set the size. The size of the box measured in the object's local space. Okay. And size is of what type? Vector 3? All right, so we got to set the size and position, I think. So the size is going to be a new vector 3. X, Y, and Z. So our X is going to be 7. Our Y is going to be 1. And our Z is going to be our max position. So that's sort of like 0 to our max, and then we need to reposition it to be in the center. Ground dot. Guess I could just move the game object. Game object. Wonder if that would work. Dot position. Dot transform. I can do dot transform on it. A transform. Dot position is a new vector 3. The X, Y, and Z. So the X should be 3. That's the center of our grid. Oh, camera, don't follow my hands. Find me. There we go. 3, our Y is going to be our max position divided by 2, but this needs to be a float. Oh, times 0.5f. And our Z should be 0. Is that right? Let's go look at it. Yeah, Z should be 0 still. All right, let's see what that looks like. We run it. If I go to my scene, my ground collider, it got moved up. So it's not quite right. Oh, our Y position around. I want to change my Z position. Hang on. This should be 0. That makes sense. Let's try again. Yeah, there we go. So we get a box cut that goes all the way across the bottom. Kind of sunken into it, so it actually should, the Y position needs to be 2. Oh, not a scale there. Our Y position 1. No. What is our Y position? Oh, our platforms are 0.1. Yeah, so our Y should, our position should be 0.1. That's the thickness of our platforms, 0.1. So this will put us so that you land on top of them. Okay. So now we're resting on top, and we have one smooth surface that we're above. If I were to drive over here, we should get, well, no except, oh, that's interesting. We want on trigger enter, that's why. But we have this one big platform. Should be harder for us to fall through that as well. Previously we could get, well, now I don't know what's going on there. Something's preventing me from moving. That's okay. It's not okay, but it's okay, but it's not okay. Oh, I can't jump. What's preventing me from jumping? That's interesting. I can fall off, respawn, I bounce. Maybe my control is messed up. That's interesting that my jump's no longer working. I don't know what I did to make my jump stop working. 20. Not even sure if the fire, let's see. If I set my player position quite high though, I don't fall through. Previously, if I was up above, I would fall through. All right. Part of me thinks that, oh, it's because my ground is no longer part of my platform. All right, so this needs to be a platform collider. That's why, because it doesn't think I'm on a platform, so I can only jump if I happen to be on a platform. There we go. All right. I don't know why I can jump so high. We'll have to fiddle around with that. Apparently, all right, my ray shooting down needs to be smaller at this point. So our ground distance probably needs to be, we scaled ourselves down a lot. There we go. All right, 0.3 maybe, 0.2. All right. Can still kind of get some interesting hops in there if you time it inch. All right, well, we'll play around with it. I do think that making this smaller will fix that because it's scaled now. All right, excellent. Now we got to make it so when the ground can actually get registered on all of those. So I'm not sure. Maybe we could put it in there. Do I still in my tunnels? Let's add a longer tunnel. In my level 1 text, let's add a. Let's make this a little bit more interesting here. Where's my insert key? It's over there. Tunnel, 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 tunnel. Load that up. I do want to make a little button I can press that'll cause my map to build up. Still have my hole there. I need to test that in a second. It still locks me in. That's nice. I can still fall off there. Okay, so we're gonna make it so that the floor there, something, yeah. So now I think we need to have a generic sort of platform script. So I want to register my ground on my none platforms, but really, I think everything might need to know about it. I'm not 100% sure, but in my level builder control, I need to at the very least hand these off to my. Well, I guess I could just ask, hey, does this prefab have a none platform controller? And then if it does, I register it on there. So we can do this. We can say none platform controller equals, equals prefab.get component none platform controller. Say if none platform controller is not equal to null, we add it in there. So none platform controller dot ground equals ground. That feels a little gross to be there in the middle of all of this. Let's put it at the end. And then in our none platform, in our prefab, this isn't on collision state, this is on trigger stay. Stay. And we want to check that it's a player collider. So it's really only if the player does that we want to turn on. And then on trigger exit, collider. We're going to say if collider dot get component player ship controller not equals to null. If not null, we do this, and similar up here, we set it to false. Okay. Let us try. Same with all of our other things. We need to change them to be the triggers. All right, let's look here at our scene. I should have a bunch of nuns in here somewhere. I can't click on them. Dremolks, welcome back, my friend. Happy Friday. How are you? So we have some of our nuns here. our triggers above? They should be. All right, so on trigger, these are not triggering. Should be able to find some here. Yeah, so we should. Better now that I reminded you it's Friday. Well, I'm happy to remind you. Happy to remind you because it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful time to be alive. We want to get the rigid body that it's on. So it's not the collider itself. Collider dot attach rigid body dot get component. Our good friend Moonness taught me about this. I actually care about the rigid body it's attached to. Do you have any plans for the weekend, Dramulks? Still nothing. Moonness, I heard my name, Pog. So this is gonna, so I understand that Pog is like the new cool. Is that correct? Pog means cool. Here I'm gonna be a little bit of a boomer. I'm not actually a boomer, but the word Pog, does it actually derive from something? PogChamp, like, the game Pogs? Yeah, so Dramulks, let's talk about what's going on. So previously in my level, we had a collider that on each individual column. So sometimes when you'd move between the column, there'd be a little bit of a like bump between them. I wanted to smooth that out. And so the way I'm doing it is we have one big collider that goes across the entire ground now. And the idea is when you hit a hole, it's gonna cause that collider to turn off. And then that's how you'll fall through. It's actually going to reduce a lot of the collision detection necessary. So like my basic ground no longer has a collision detection. There's just like one big collider. And so I'm trying to make it so that when the player drives into the trigger, it goes off. Thumbert Games, good morning, my friend. Welcome back. Welcome back, my good friend Thumbert Games. It used to be an emote of a person and not a snake. And Pog is the modified version of it, showing the mouth of the person. Interesting. The trigger, all right, let me show you. The trigger is on the none here. So each one of these rows, so when I drive into this, the idea is that this is supposed to go off. And I just think that I'm not detecting whether or not the player shipped controller properly. So for example, if I put a debug here, that transfold needs a collider in none. People other than grunts. I just think of the little cardboard chips that we used to play where you try and flip them over. So I'm pretty sure we're getting it. I'm just not. Oh, it's not giving me anything. That's interesting. So the trigger, is it set? It should be a trigger. Transfold. Otherwise, there will be no collision check. You need to put at least a box collider and set it as trigger so it won't be any RB stuff. The actual object you have selected had no collider. Yeah, it does. It's this thing here has it. So the player is the rigid body. Inside of it is this rigid body. Oh, sorry. So there's a collider right there on it, and then it goes up to the player, like so. And actually, I kind of don't want this floating thing anymore. Let's get rid of that. It should. Let's go to our none. It has this, and that has a box collider that is a trigger. Yeah. So it has a box collider. I'm just not sure why it's not setting that information up. So that's what we're debugging. Yeah. So the parent there, it's in the little child on the inside has a box collider. I don't know why this. Oh, and I know why it's not, because this doesn't have a platform controller attached to it. There you go. Yeah. So it's not doing it because it doesn't have it. And question is, if I put it here, will it detect? Do I need this script to be on the cube, the thing that has the box collider? I just didn't have the script on it. I still think I need to put this here. Yeah, but the parent object needs to have the none. All right, so what I'm gonna do, yeah, so the thing is I need to be able to find it on the parent object here. And so I'm just gonna make this thing when it wakes up go find its box collider. So I want this thing to detect it, or I could move my box collider up to the parent thing. Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna have to have this thing sort of do something. I mean, like a box collider forwarder or something like that. Let me know if this seems stupid. All right, create a new file. Collision detector. All right, and this thing is going to be a mono behavior, public class collision detector mono behavior using Unity engine, using Unity engine dot events. See, but I'm trying to follow what I consider good principles, right? So I'm trying to follow good principles where my prefabs should have the component that I want to interact with on the top level and nothing else. So I'm trying to follow that as a good practice. So the internal things, these are the hidden components. I don't want anyone touching this. So the idea is my prefab, the interactable part should be attached here. So that's sort of like the goal in my mind. Let's try and do good practices, in like make ourselves do good things and teach my students to follow good practices. So I think a good practice is to treat a prefab sort of like a class, where the things you should touch, the things you should interact with should be at the top level. Oh yeah, I can, Dramox. I can. Oh yes, I can. All right. That's why I have to write this class, which is my collision detector. On you know, on day. So I just have to do a little bit of extra work in this way. No, you'll see. You'll see. This is all we got to do. Hold tight. Hold tight. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. So this is going to work just like the event trigger. Maybe it should be called a collision trigger. Collision trigger. All right. This is going to work just like that. You put this on a thing. Wait for it. Wait for it. Hold tight. You gotta trust me. Trust me. And then this, so you do a little bit of extra work here. We're gonna do a little bit of extra work here. And forward these to anything that's listening. We're gonna do a little bit of extra work. And this is gonna make it so that we don't have to expose things that we don't want to expose. I guess we should forward that collider. It doesn't. So I think in the long run, it doesn't, Moonness. I think you're right if you're building something small that doesn't have a lot of stuff. Um, I think I actually disagree in the long run. I don't know the biggest project you've ever worked on. I'm not sure if you worked on a project that's been in existence for more than 20 years. If you're working on a small project, I think you're right. You do add in a little bit of extra code, but if it's documented well, patterns exist for a reason. Yeah. If you're working on a team, let's say you're working on a team where you have 100 people working on the same code base, this is the way to go. Like, I actually disagree with you on this one a little bit. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing, right? It's good to have different opinions. And so I'm trying to just teach good practices and how to manage a complexity as it grows. And so I think a good practice, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. I think a good practice is to follow, the single purpose, all design, your interfaces, using private methods, using, properties this way. I disagree with you a little bit on the pattern thing. You increase your overhead a little bit, but in the long run, you don't think so when it comes to game dev. That's fine. That's fair. I think if you want a project, I think there's not a whole lot of difference between game dev. Yeah, exactly, Dramlux. Now we're gonna pass these on. So the idea here now is my collider. This is gonna have my trigger. Hang on. Collision trigger is a mono behavior. Where? Why can't you find it? Hang on. It shouldn't be a namespace thing. There's no namespace. There's no, oh, thank you. Thank you. Collision trigger. Yield Tyrus King. Thank you very much. Ye old Tyrus King. 50 points. 50 points to you. Thank you very much for helping me find that. I appreciate it. I suppose, again, if you're making a game that you're going to build out and release and never touch again, sure. So it's fine to disagree. That said, I come from a software engineering background. Let's be very, very clear. I do not come from a game dev background. I come from a software engineering background where my brain likes to be able to reason about things. And so we can totally agree and disagree. It's same with unit testing, right? I actually think unit testing is like almost an absolute must in anything that's non-trivial. Collision trigger. There we go. All right, so now this thing's hidden inside of this, and I can register my none platform here, and this is just going to be called. These will be public, and this is actually going to be called. Destroy ground, and this one's going to be called restore ground, or maybe enable here, deactivate ground, activate ground. Yeah, and that's fair. If you feel that it actually slows you down, that's fine. I think in the long term, on a big team, this sort of pattern, yeah, I'm just deactivating it, so we're gonna change it to deactivate ground. It's good practice just for reasoning purposes. That said, I'm happy to agree to disagree on this one. And that's fair. So when we're in it, now we put this in here. And this causes it to deactivate, and then on not on enter, this is on exit. So we can sort of forward this down. So my idea here is that the principle I'm trying to follow is that my none platform, I don't really want to expose the ability to do this stuff, right? The one thing I'm exposing is that we have to be able to set the ground collider. And in here, I could even do things like if the ground collider is not set, we do like something else happens. We could also sort of make a quote unquote constructor for the only way to make these is through like a built-in instantiate that requires a ground. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so now in our, I think that's all I needed to do. It should be forwarding it down there now. All right, null reference. All right, so at least now it's triggering. And my guess is that ground might be null. Let's go to our level builder controller. None platform controller. All right, so it's likely that it's just not getting set. It's here, none. Should be the top level one. The colliding object does have a rigid body. It's trying to set this. So it is triggering now. It is triggering now, but ground, I believe, is null. Do a quick debug here. See if it'll let me attach this. All right, cool. We're attached. We know we're attached. We got a little blue check mark down here on our little bug icon. All right. And collider, this ground is null. For some reason, we're not setting ground. All right, that's fair. So we got to stop that. Thumbert says, just finished up a binary search tree in C++ using no libraries for a graduate class. I'm ready to back into C#. Are you saying you didn't enjoy? Oh, I just went off the edge there. You didn't enjoy writing in C++? I actually, so I haven't done a ton in C++, but I love I love C. I love C. I've taught a class in the past called like data organization in C, not C++, where I have students write binary search trees and linked lists and stuff, and I find it like very, very fun and satisfying to deal with pointers. I feel so powerful. But I will say I do like being in my soft, cushy C# cloud. My soft C# does make me feel safe. Again, it's about baby proofing. Baby proof. You're a baby. Baby proof yourself. Non-platform controller. This is, we're not setting the prefab properly. Snap says, I've not written C++ since the 90s and I don't miss it. So I've done quite a bit of work writing drivers and embedded systems in C and assembly. But I've never, so when you're working with like small embedded systems, you don't actually write in C++, right? So when I want to get down that low level, typically it's like, oh, I have, 256 bytes of RAM, So I remember, I had a constraint. I was working on, there's like a drilling rig, and the end of the drilling rig, we were working on a microcontroller that had I think it was like a little bit less than 8 kilobytes of memory. And so every bit mattered. So I find it fun and fascinating. So I love like doing, okay, if I have a good specification, working in C is nice because you're like, okay, I want to byte align things. My system happens to be like an 8-bit system. So my ints are actually 8 bits. So how am I going to store data if I need to go past 256? Some fun. I think it can be fun and satisfying, but when you're programming a game at a high level, or you're programming something that, you know, I don't want to have to worry about it for the most part. C in assembly is fine. Yeah, so C++ is like feature rich, right? It has a zillion features. Mooniz says, I started game dev in C++ in school, and it was 2 years of game dev in C++. I haven't used it since. I think it might be interesting to explore Unreal Engine at some point. But I think from a learning, I probably will never do it because as much as I love playing games and like building games is fun, I'm not really a game developer. And from a pedagogical standpoint, I don't think it necessarily makes sense to teach a C++ class. Like if I was doing a C++ class, really if I'm teaching object-oriented design, I'm going to be wanting to use C# probably. C# or Java. That said, I haven't used C++ enough to have a real opinion. I've used it very, very tangentially. So I'm not a good, yeah, I haven't used C++ enough to have a real opinion. My opinion is not valid on C++. Let's say that. I think my opinion on C++ is pretty invalid. Daniel says, I think Unreal used C# and you can choose between endnodes or something like that, block code. Ooh, that's interesting. I didn't know you could use C# in Unreal Engine. Could someone... Yeah, that's interesting. If that's true, then it might be it might be more accessible for me to explore. Yeah. If it is, I'm saying if it is, that'd be cool. That said, C# gives you the ability to go under the hood and deal directly with pointer memory, but it is running on a virtual machine. I need to debug this. Why are we not getting none platforms? Let's go look at our dictionary. Okay. None. Top level's a none controller script. Do we ever... All right, so ground might be null. All right, so let's put a little break here. Absolutely, Moonness. Let's see. Got a lot of chat to catch on here. Thumbert says the blueprint system in Unreal is pretty great. I've heard it's really, really good. I worked at a summer camp where one of my colleagues was teaching game design using Unreal, and they used blueprints, and the students made some really cool things. I hear it's really powerful as well. Dremel says, I don't think you can use C# in it. It's C++ or blueprints. Moon says, my opinion of C++ is that I was not smart enough to understand meta templates and things when I started, so I disliked it. So I do think when you're learning something, the learning curve can be painful. The learning curve can be painful with that. Templates, from what I don't know enough about templates, are a meta programming language that is, someone correct me if I'm wrong, is sort of a preprocessor for the compiler, but someone correct me if I'm wrong. That was a third-party plugin to use C#. They got EPA Mega funding for that. Oh, so there's a plug. UnityCoder.com is saying that there may be a plugin for C#. Unreal CLR SMAB contributes. Then Munez says, but I believe I am a smarter man now. 10+ years of experience. Absolutely, absolutely. The experience you gain just by programming and developing is super, super useful. Unity Coder says, yes, it's Unreal CLR, which is a plugin apparently that you can use C#. Daniel says, I tried using the visual scripting of Unity, Bolt, when I first tried learning Unity, and I didn't like it one bit. I have a little bit of a dislike for, all right, so I think ground must be null. Let's look here. I have a little bit of a dislike for, no, it's not. All right. So we do set it there. Non-platform controller. Ground. I have a little bit of a hate is the wrong word. I dislike. That's not true. That's not true. Block coding languages can be really, really useful. Wiring things together can be really useful. I think it's really, really bad. There's been studies that show that block languages. So there was a study done in 2013, so it might be different now. And this is specifically for Scratch. MIT Scratch is a study, and I should find it. That showed that students who had been previously exposed to the Scratch programming language, they were comparing students who had previously been exposed and had at least 1 year of Scratch before getting to university, right? In university, performed worse in an introduction to programming class that used Java than students who had no previous experience to programming. So that is sort of my negative feeling towards visual, like block coding, is that it gets students' brains in a place where they cannot get out of it. So they want, that going from from blocks to text. Once you've learned blocks, it's really, really hard to go to text-based programming. So even if you've learned the concepts, all right. So apparently I've timed out here. So it was a really, really interesting study. And there was this really cool attempt. So there was a thing called Windows Touch Develop, which was C#, a block language for C#, that there's a little toggle you could switch between it. And they had some really, really promising results. So I actually went to grad school to do computer science education. That's how I've, read all these things. So it's a while ago. It's interesting that these are all null now. Yeah, so that's sort of my opinion on it. That's not to say. Oh, so there was another thing about that study though. So Thumbert, before you decide not to do it, there was another thing. It did show that students who were previously exposed to Scratch were more excited and more likely to finish an engineering degree than those who weren't previously exposed to languages. But that could be just like a selection bias of people who have chosen to do stuff in Scratch, were really, really interested before university. And so a lot of the people in university weren't necessarily like majoring in engineering. They were just happened to be taking an introduction. So there's a lot of stuff in that paper that show, it's not taking into account like level of interest, that sort of thing. It just showed that students who were previously exposed to Scratch had trouble essentially switching to text-based programming because it's frustrating. You're like, well, I just want to go do this thing in Scratch. I know how to do it in Scratch. It's a challenge when someone is learning multiple things at the same time, essentially, I think is what it comes down to. So the ground is getting set. Oh, I'm not sure how to debug this. Place platform. We are setting them. Dremel says, I started my game dev journey almost 2 years ago with zero knowledge of any programming, and I tried visual scripting for a bit, but didn't like it. I think visual scripting is really powerful if you already have a strong understanding of coding. That said, we've been going for about 2 hours here. I'm about to get frustrated looking into this bug, so I'm going to take a quick break. I've been out of coffee for a while. I'm almost out of water. I'm going to get some water, and we're going to come back and finish it out. Hopefully we can find this collider. See what's going on with it. All right, I'll be back. Hang tight. All right, we're back real quick. We are gonna do a little bit of stretching. My coffee friends will go away for a moment. We're gonna stretch a little bit. My legs, I've been standing too long. We're gonna do a little bit of stretching. If you would please, I would love to have you join me. I'm gonna turn on my my eye contact mode if I can. Oh, maybe is that program even running? All right. So come do some stretching with me. Gaze into my eyes. Gaze into me. All right, we're gonna do eye contact mode here. All right, so we got my eyes. These are the AI NVIDIA's broadcast eyes. So that way you'll feel connected to me. Don't you feel connected to me when I'm staring it deep into your soul? All right, we're gonna do some stretches. Everyone, please, if you'd please stand up. Please stand up. If you're at work, if you've been sitting all day, I've been going for 2 hours with, straight. I can feel my legs getting tight. So we're gonna do some stretching here. I'm gonna stretch out I'm gonna do some quad stretches. All right, so I'm gonna get that left leg up. You don't have to do quad stretches. Do the stretches that you think are gonna work nicely for you. But feel free to look away. But if you need that personal touch, you need that eye contact to help you feel good, just gaze into my eyes with you. Just know that I'm here for you. And we're giving our bodies a little love. We're stretching because you deserve to be loved. You deserve to be loved because you're a lovely person. And your body deserves to be loved. Thumber, I don't enjoy AI takes a look into my soul. Don't think of it as AI. Think of it as Captain Coder gazing into your soul. Smab says, Chat GPT reckons my current laptop is probably about 100,000 times more powerful than my first CPU. That's probably true. See, I think I missed some chat. Moonez posted a link to your first computer. Nice. Oh, this feels good. All right, I'm going to switch to my right leg now. Let's see if we can get it up. Go into the inspector. Moonez, give me some tips again. If you go into the Spectre and turn on debug mode, see if ground is set or not. Yeah, I need to make it a public field just for a moment to see if it's set. Because right now it's not a serialized field, so I'm going to serialize it. Oh, I guess there's no real reason not to serialize it. So yeah, let's do that and take a look. I hope everyone's stretching with me, getting some goodness in your life. Treat your body well so that you can keep working a long time. Oh, that's a good stretch. It's a good stretch. All right, now I'm gonna do some calf stretches. If you join me in some calf stretches, I got a little platform here I'm putting it on. But the AI, can I make it zoom in on me a little bit more? Oh, there we go. Nice and zoomed in. Look into my eyes. Look into gazing. Don't you feel connected to me? Does this make you feel more or less connected? The idea is it's supposed to make you feel more connected. All right, we're gonna do 10 more seconds on this stretch here. I'm gonna switch legs, and then that'll be it. We'll get back into it. Hope we can get our nun collider working so that we can collide with some nuns. All right, switch here. Get my other chair here. Get a platform. All right. Oh, doesn't stretching feel great? Your body loves it when you stretch. Your body loves it, and you deserve to love your body. All right. 5 more seconds. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me in those stretches. If you didn't join me in the stretches, that's okay too. It's okay too. But just know that your body deserves some love. All right, we're gonna turn the eye contact off because it's freaking me out. There we go. Hope that didn't turn anyone off a little too much, but we're here, we're happy, we're moving, we're grooving, and we're gonna hop back into it. Let's switch to front view here. And thank you everyone for joining me in some stretches. If you joined in the stretch, you deserve these points. If you didn't join in the stretch, that's okay. I love you anyway. All 21 of you. Wow, 21 people in the chat. I wonder how many of those are bots. I keep going through and removing bots. So if you're a bot, that means you're not listening right now, and that's okay. But we love you anyway, bots. But I'm sorry, but I'm gonna remove you later, just to protect me, protect my friends. Gramulks, I am not a bot. I'm glad. I need one of those captcha things. Ooh, that's an interesting idea. Thumbert Games, beep boop. I am not a bot. Okay. It's okay. Smart. I'm okay with smart bots. Ooh, Dramulks is Chat GPT in disguise. Is Dramos? All right. So we got to give Dramulks some prompts to test it out. Okay. Here we go. Here we flow. Yeah. So to test this out, I wanted to do this. Field, serialized field. Gotta give you some prompts. That would be a fun little thing I could hook up. See, this is why I want my own chat box. I could do a thing like, you know, exclamation point and have it connect to Chat GPT for me so people could do some fun, spend some points to generate some prompts. That'd be really, really fun. Dramulks, I'll debug your problem right away. All right, let's open this up. So we did go into the debugger. Obstacles, none. The box collider is not set. Is it not able to do that? Yeah, we could do that. All right. So I just want to test and it should work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should be more than. Oh, yeah. There's 5 rows of it. Yeah. Interesting. When you exit, it sort of turns it back on. Okay, so it sort of needs to not. All right. We're gonna disable this for now. So it's turn it back on, which is pushing it back through because it stops colliding with it. Instead, maybe when we respawn or something. That's interesting. Mr. Coder, if you remove the serial field, can you use the debug mode to inspect to see the values unless you want to serialize the field? Oh, I can. Hang on. I don't want to serialize it. All right, you're telling me that I can go into a debug mode. Are you just referring to like the Unity, like if I put a little thing here? Because I did, the reason I know it's null is because I actually did do a debug and added a breakpoint. Is there a debug mode in Unity that I'm missing? Oh. That's the wrong debugger. Okay. You did it for the scene view now. So if I'm in my inspector, I go to my none. You're saying there's this one here? No, Mooniz says no. That is the wrong number. You did it for the scene. Inspector tab, far to the right. It says normal, and then underneath it says debug. Normal. Inspector. Ah. Oh, fancy. I did not know. We could do that. Oh, this is beautiful. Mooniz, my friend. Thank you. Thank you for that. But yeah, I knew it was none. This is awesome. I had no idea that was a thing. Yeah, so Mooniz points to you, my friend. That is an awesome little thing you've just shown me. which I'm sure is going to help me many, many times over. All right, so I know that there's no ground collider, which is fascinating. It's just fascinating to me that none of these have ground colliders on them. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it can get me into trouble. Normal mode. Should be lots more points for New Mooniz for that one. All right, Smab. We'll give Mooniz 250 points, 300 points total. There you go. There you go. Now Mooniz is far in the lead. Thank you. We just hit 6K. It's just at 6K. One thing that I want to do real quick. Hang on. I want to do the following. Just to make this look a little bit similar. Paste. There we go. This is sort of what our scene looks like right now. I have no idea why it's not letting me attach the ground collider. Is it... I think it's... All right, hang on. I'm interested if it's because this is during Awake. So here is what I think is happening. Here's what I think is happening. Mooney says, I asked ChatGPT to write chat to a streamer streaming Unity programming. Here it goes. I've been learning Unity programming for a while now, and your streams have been a great help in my journey. Hey, streamer. Loving the Unity programming content. Keep up the great work. I can't wait to see a cool project come up next. I think it's a race condition because of how Unity is serializing these things. So I do think that's right. So I'm going to try making this on start and see if this somehow does it. Notice there's no awake or anything in here, but I think it is when it deserializes this or something, it is doing it. And I think it's related to my database here. Because this is happening. Oh, it doesn't have it on awake. I don't know. I'm gonna see if putting it in start works. My fear is that it's somehow in awake where it's happening, but I don't know. So I'm curious if it's related to it being in awake. Let's go look at these nuns. Debug. They're still null. Yeah, so I just don't know what is happening here. This is super bizarre. So here's the interesting thing. If I put a breakpoint here, we see that it does set ground, but then at some point, it's getting set to null later. So if I put a break, so this is the most interesting thing to me is it is getting set. Yeah. Right here. So it is getting set. And our breakpoint happens. It happens 5 times. We can watch them get set. And then something is set into new. Okay. Mooniz sees why. Mooniz sees why. All right, Mooniz, tell us. Tell us why. Drumlock says, I usually make a coroutine and do a wait till end of frame to get all the things I might need and start the coroutine and start. Oh, Mooniz, my friend. With the good eyes, my friend with the good eyes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mooniz. It's a good catch. I was, yeah. I was just about to get it. Mooniz. That's another 100 points, Mooniz. Great eye. All right. Great catch. Thank you so much for that. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Really. All right. So now we can fall through. So notice the one thing here is the ground. We don't want the ground turns off like the second you bump it. Corfless, welcome back, my friend. Corfless says hello again. My assignment now is working on Python with keyboard module. I like it. We just got our collision working with our none. So now if you collide with a none, the ground turns off. The collider, I think, needs to be shrunk down to be half the size in our none collider, so that way we don't hit it when we hit the edge of it. You have to be far enough in for it to turn off. So I think we want to set the collider to be like 0.5. So you'll still hit it if you're nearby. There's some weirdness we got to figure out. I'm not 100% sure how I'm gonna do it, but the collider turns off, and then turning it back on. There's a little bit of a bug if we turn it back on when you exit, because the ground is thicker. And so one thing we do is there's a couple options. We can make the none platform cube nice and thick. So maybe we make it so the cube at the bottom is thick. I think that's what we'll do. We're gonna make it so that the cube extends down quite a bit. Moon is, that is not the first time I've done that by any means. I've done that many times. So we want this to extend far enough down that well, that's way too far. We want it to extend far enough down that it's thicker than our floor. So our floor is one thick. This is one option we could do. So when you fall through, it will turn back on. So we're gonna try that. And then we got to make it so that it's actually a little bit smaller. So maybe even a little thicker there. We respawn. Yeah. So I think maybe a little thicker. All right. Moon says I've done the mistake 250,000 times, 2,500 times. Yeah, it's a pretty common. See how we sort of like bounce some interesting things going on there. Good work, Goblin. Welcome back. Yeah, we finished up our prototype there. There's some things we got to do. I think we need to also make this just thicker in the other direction as well. But welcome back, Good Work, Goblin. Nice to see you. We're working on our this is a clone. This is a clone of the classic old game, an old game called what's the name of this game? Skyroad. So we're making a 3D game now. So there's some awkwardness here that we're gonna have to fix. Make it a little taller, a little longer. Or I could just make it so that way. There we go. All right, so we can sort of fall through it now. Like that. And I think one of the things we want to do is we need to shrink it down so that it's notice the ground turns off, you just get close to it, right? So we need to make it so that it is, let's go look in our scene real quick. Mooniz, I asked ChatGPT if I was a rabbit and worked as a programmer, what would be a cool nickname for me? Give me some cool nicknames. Code Hopper, Binary Bunny, and the Carrot Coder. Ooh, those are pretty good. Those are pretty good. I loved Sky Roads. Sky Roads was fun. So yeah, so I think we need to shrink the box collider on our nun to be 0.5, 0.5. I think this will do it for it. I think this will work. Maybe this is a full. Jackie, I'm gonna tell my kids GPT was the real. I like that. Was the real Google. 0.75. 0.75. So we don't want it to turn off until we're in it. There we go. All right, I think let's see what happens, like inching into it. Enjoy your day, Thumper Games, as always. Thank you so much for hanging out. Keep coding, keep building up those skills, and you're welcome back anytime, my friend. Anytime. Well, for some reason, that's weird. That's super weird. Well, I think I'm like right on the boundary. Why? That is bizarre. That is bizarre. That is a super weird behavior that I was not anticipating. That feels all right, though. You can sort of... I don't understand what I'm hitting here. I really don't know what I'm hitting in my scene. I think maybe I've like... Can I move forward? Can. I think I might be right on the cusp here. Hang on. I think I might need to do the following. On my nun, in addition to being on stay, we do an on enter. That's interesting that you can do that as well. Sort of move through. I think there needs to be a minor delay on the exit, actually. So I think that we need to add a delay that makes it so that we will invoke this later. Because when you fall through, the ground deactivates and you should just go through. So I'm going to set it so that after 1 second it turns back on. I think that's what I want to do. And we'll go back to being too thick, I think. So we're sort of above, and our Y position will be 0. And in our scene, let me make sure my nun is still... Yeah, so it's above. Actually... My nun... Oh, this is not using those. All right. But I'm pretty sure, let me look at the cube on these. 2, my Y position is 1. Okay, so my nun thickness, I should be up 1. And then was my size 1 or 2? 2. Okay, so we're sort of above. And instead of reactivating the ground, there's going to be delay for activating. It's going to be private void delay activate ground. What should it be? It should be called we'll just do activate ground like this, and this is going to take in nothing. This just becomes ground Yeah, okay. Ground dot game object dot set active true. And the reason I want that is I want to be able to do invoke name of activate ground after 1 second. I want to put the ground back on later after the ship's fallen through. Or I just need to make it so that when you click, maybe I need to get rid of that. Maybe this just doesn't happen, and when we respawn, the ground turns itself back on. Let's do that. Honestly, I think that's the easiest thing to do. Maybe. Because if we die and then click respawn right away, maybe the ground's still missing. Welcome back, Daniel. Don't like. I have no idea what I'm colliding with. It seems like I'm colliding with the... So I'm holding the move right button right now, and I can't go this way. 4 minutes till group exercise. Good luck. Yeah, essentially I'm gonna have to. Gizmos don't work. Scene. I'm 90% sure I'm colliding with this, but this is not a... So this is definitely what I'm colliding with. But this is a trigger, or it should be a trigger. So it shouldn't be stopping me. This is why it's so weird. Oh, yes, thank you. These should no longer be, you are correct, Moonness, thank you. These are no longer platforms. These shouldn't be platforms. These aren't no longer in the platform. Beautiful. I need to go through. This should not be in the platform layer. These will also need to not be in the platform layer. Thank you. The tunnel is still a platform, but these are not. Dremolks, enjoy. Have a beautiful day, my friend. Have a beautiful day, my friend. Generic default. You're doing great, my friend. I appreciate it very much, Moonness. It's been super helpful. These would be these type of weird little bugs that I would be stuck debugging probably all day. That's right. Our tunnel isn't that, but this happens to be. So if we go into our tunnel prefab, this top level is not, but this mesh is. Okay. So we gotta fix all those. Revert all. Default platforms, generic. change. Default. So there's a bunch of little things that when we go back to turn this into an actual project, we'll be able to massage a lot of these things out, which will be nice. All right. It's interesting, my students are blowing through the RPG project, which is nice. We've had 5 classes and they've made it, they're on the character creator scene now. We're going to be starting the character creator scene next week. And so they've essentially had 5 classes. We've done a bunch of class stuff touching. They have like dice rolling, histogram checker on that. So it's really, really cool to watch them blow through those projects. Because if you have a well-defined specification, it's much easier than when you're, trying to figure things out. There we go. All right, now we fall off. We just want to make sure. Moonniz, thank you so much for that. I would have been looking at that for a very long time. That seems pretty fine. Okay. All right. All right, we have a hole. We've got a hole in the ground. We can fall in the hole, which is fun. Which is fun. We got a level builder. Our tunnels should work if we hop over this. It sort of locks us in place. Nice. Okay. Now we gotta go back. I'm gonna do a commit here. We got holes working. Let's do a commit. In our feature here. Feature. Add solid platform. Solid ground platform. Implement none trigger that causes platform to disappear. Perfect. All right, that seems to be working pretty well. The next thing I want to do is I need to get my other platforms working again. Let's come back into my level here. Right now, they're not going to be working because they're all based off of collision. So we're going to add them as triggers now. We need to rework them as triggers. But to be able to test it out, let's go ahead and add in to our level here. Do I have an insertion mode? I don't know how to press my insert button. That's okay. We're gonna add in our fire platform. We'll add in a boost platform. And we'll add in a sticky platform here. So if we run this, and we're pretty close to having like a functional game here, and then we just got to make some fun levels, make it so you can change the background on different levels, add some music, add some sound effects. All right, so yeah, so these just don't work because they're on triggers. That's right. So that was the whole point. My boost now. My boost controller should now be I know we're almost let's take a look. Moonniz. We got this, boom. This isn't a custom editor. A custom editor I think would be a little bit nicer. It's not a custom editor, but we'll mark it off. Here's what I'll do. There we go. So the custom editor part won't be crossed, but we've implemented specifying a file in the inspector. Perfect. Perfect. Not a custom editor. Beautiful. So these are now on trigger stay. All right, and so it should be simple enough to come into each one of these, I hope. on trigger stay. Yeah. On trigger stay. I want to move these into my platforms folder, right? So right now, error on trigger stay. Oh yeah, I know what that error is. I need to change the argument. So this is our boost platform. We're gonna move it. Fire platform. Our sticky platform. And our tunnel controller. Okay. These should take a collider. Hang on. Close all. Collider. And now it needs to be other dot attached rigid body. Dot attached rigid body. Attached, oops, attached rigid body. And that one's already a trigger. And then let's double check. I think we've already made them all triggers. Okay. Did that fix it for us? Is that all we had to do? Is that all we had to do? All right, let's do a hippie hop. Zoom boom. Sticky. Boom. Okay. All right. All right, so there's one platform type I'm missing, and that's my cube. So I got to make it so that we can place like a cube obstacle that we can jump up on. And then I think we have all of our components in there. Let's commit all of this. This is a refactor. Platforms use triggers. Okay, and then in our database, we got to add in a couple spots. Close all. In our platform type, we need a new type that is like a block. What should we use for a block? So we need to add in a new type here. That is wall. W seem like a good one for wall. Wall. And then we have the opposite direction. We go W goes to wall. And then in our database, we just need to add a wall in. All right, I think we already have a wall. We just gotta put it in our database. Database. Element 7 is our wall, and our prefabs. Shouldn't do this. Not Smab. Mooniz taught me I can do this. Aha. And I go to my platforms, and I just say that this is going to be my wall, and I'm going to rename this to wall. Okay, so I should be able to put walls in my level now. Let's come back to here. Go to my level 1. Resources, level 1. Let's put in some walls. Like that. And there we go. Easy. We do have the This needs to be thicker. On the top, I think. Three, so then it'd be move up 2. Let's try 4. So we're hitting the ground and bouncing too soon, so we want to be able to do. But the one downside on that is if we're like trying to hop over something, we might still have the ground turn off on us. So like here, that seems okay-ish. I'm slightly concerned. You don't want to have it too tall. So you still want to be able to... I can imagine a situation where I'm coming over it and I like graze it and the ground's sort of off before I get there. We'll leave it at 4 and see if that's reasonable. Let me move my wall. All right, let's try and make a real level. Let's see if there's a, you know, like Sky Roads. Let's see if I can find Sky Roads levels top down. Does anyone have the levels from the top down perspective so we can see, so we can just clone a level? Well, this is interesting. I wonder if we, I wonder if we could just use the Sky Roads level format. That'd be cool. I'm looking for the top down. So that would be interesting if we took the Sky Roads level format and used it that way. Kind of want to just find the level 1. I want to find the top down of the level so that we can edit it. That'd be really cool. Just clone the level. But nah, I guess I got to make it myself. I don't know how to hit an insert. I don't know how to make an insert, use my insert, but I have an insert button on my keyboard, but I don't know how to activate it because it's the slash button. I'd like to be able to sort of like design a level here as a clone of the first level of Sky Roads. Sky Roads, level 1. Did I use insert a few days ago? I don't think I did. Well, I saw there's an insert key on my keyboard. There's an insert key on my keyboard, but it's part of another key, and I don't know what I pressed to activate it. Yeah, I don't know what I pressed to turn it on. But I'd like to have an insert mode so I can sort of like carve out a level without having to use the backspace key. Toggle insert. There we go. So we'll just use this to toggle insert. So we're going to design a level here. We're going to make a nice long level. Oh, my exit tunnel doesn't actually do anything yet. But here. That feels long, right? How long is this level? And I don't know what button I press to change. So it's not shift because it, you know, I don't know what button to press to activate insert. I know it's there, but I don't know what button to press. And so it's got to be one of these buttons up here. We have like these control buttons. Sorry, this camera's crazy. We have one of these control buttons that probably does it, but I don't know how. Yeah, so there we go. So I just don't know what button I hold to turn it on. I have a keypad button or something, but the keypad button toggles on the right side of my keyboard. Anyway, now you got a really close look at my keyboard and saw like it's kind of a grody. I need to clean it. If I rotate the key so that the insert is on top, will it work? That's probably what I should do. I want to see how long this level looks here. All right, how long can we ride? All right, this level seems pretty long enough. Sweet. Whee! Okay, so we'll add in some stuff to this level. But I think I can do top insert. Yeah, so this will let me just do it this way. All right, so we're going to have some fun with this. If it's longer than 7 cells, it just ignores it right now. Good question. Good question. Right now, it just ignores it if it's longer than 7 cells. The game only does 7 cells wide. Ooh, I like this a little bit better. So for what it's worth, this isn't really a level editor. It's like a level parsing format, right? So there's not really an editor here. It just reads in a format that lets it work, to say. But good question. Good work, Goblin asked, does your level editor take into account levels wider than 7 cells? And the answer is it ignores it. It ignores it. So if I have extra stuff off the side there, it'll just ignore it. It's expecting to find 7. If it finds less than 7, it pads it with spaces. If it finds more than 7, it'll never read that value. All right, so we'll put fire here. Oh, I don't like the autocomplete. That's really annoying. How do I turn off? Does anyone know in VS Code, is there a way to trigger IntelliSense not to turn on when I'm in the middle like typing? I just want to turn it off on this specific file. We could potentially jump over it. We'll make it so you can jump over it. We'll add some boost here because this is defeating my purpose. Put a tunnel in the middle. Yeah, I don't know why it's text mode. Text. It really, really wants to. Yeah, there's some plugin doing it, I'm sure. Yeah, I'd like to disable it. Fire, sticky. And then we'll have it sort of go down this way. I'm not a level designer by any stretch of the imagination, so we're gonna just try and have a little bit of fun here, designing a level that comes out. We'll put an exit up here. It'd be nice to have like a point and click thing, so I'll probably want to build in a thing where I can like click and like just drop things in. It might be a nice Unity editor to add in. But let's look at what we got here. So I'm really, really happy with this. Yeah, so in my mind, these were all... In my mind, the level was much, much longer. So this is Visual Studio Code, not Visual Studio. Visual Studio, I'm pretty sure, doesn't have many of these issues. When I've used Visual Studio, I've been very, very happy with Visual Studio. All right, so this should really be quite a bit longer here. So what would be nice is as I'm editing this, if it was drawing it onto the screen. Oh, I know, Moonnes. So clearly, this is painful. This is quite painful. So this is, I think, I really want to just find the first level, and maybe I need to use maybe we need to steal the Skyroads format. Skyroad's format. I should be able to do this too, right? If I hold down Shift and click, or is it Control Shift click? I know there's a way that I can edit multiple lines at the same time, or like add in multiple cursors. All right, I bet this is painful to watch. I bet this is really, really painful to watch. Kind of painful to write. But yeah, I've actually watching you use Writer as really made me want to consider it as an option because it works on all of the platforms, right? So it's really made me consider it. And so I might look into getting an educational license. So one of the things is my school is an independent school, so often educational licenses just are not a thing. With independent schools, because it's like private, you know, it's not actually private funded. We're like a what is it, 503c. And let's also I'm gonna do something like that. Point and click it would be nice. Goblin says, good work, Goblin says. Writer has saved me enough time during freelance work that it pays for itself, to be honest. So then if I make them each 3 long, I can't do designs that are 1 cell wide. Right, so this is where like an actual visual editor would be nice, where I could like drag pixels or something. What might, yeah. So what might be interesting is to make it so that way the image itself, or the file itself is like, well, you actually just give it a file. You just give us a like a bitmap, and then based on the color of the pixel, that determines what you're doing. So that might be a way to do it, is make it so that you just give it a bitmap. You give it an image, and the image is your file format. So you can use like an image editor to make these things. It's not horrible, but you're right that but we have a thing. We have a thing that is a thing. Kind of. Oops. It's just a matter of, you know, I honestly think making a level editor will make this much less painful. I don't know why I blew up. There's some interesting little things going on. Oh, I think I collided. I got a hop. That's what's happening. I'm colliding. I'm phasing through the ground and colliding with the ground. My nose collider. You can actually create a texture and draw on it in an editor view without too much work. Yeah, so we gotta think about how we might do it. I only have 6 minutes left here before I gotta hop off. Yeah, I'm not sure what the plan is here. Being able to visualize it while you're working on it might be all you really need. And so like a little custom editor window where you have like a text box that you're like typing in and changing things might be all you need. Good work, Alex. Private school is cool. Well done. Thank you. Dread Drasta. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Happy to have you here. I'm a computer science teacher, computer science programmer, computer science educator. Do not hesitate to ask questions. If you have a question, I'm here to answer. try to answer. I'm not going to guarantee I'll be able to answer it, but do not hesitate to ask. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the crew. But let's do a commit here. I'm pretty happy with where we've made it. Added a wall. So feature, add, ooh, caps lock still on. Feat, add wall to platform types. And then, so we're going to play around with building a level, but I'm going to end here. We're going to find someone to raid. We got 4 minutes left. Thank you everyone so much for hanging out with me. It was an absolute blast today. I'm really, really happy with the progress that was made. Moonniz, thank you so much for all of the tips. Anyone who doesn't know, Moonniz, do a shout out. Moonniz is what I call a real game developer. I'm just wanting to, I'm a teacher. I'm not a professional. Moonniz, on the other hand, is a real game developer making real games. Go check him out. Click that right now. Everyone come back to the chat real quick. Click that little heart. Check out Moonniz's stuff. Moonniz is currently working on a library, like a Unity library. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a Unity library for making Metroidvania games, or 2D platformer Metroidvania-esque games. Really, really good stuff. Got to go check them out. Good work, Goblins. Thank you so much for being here. Once again, everyone, this was absolute fun. I had a blast. We're gonna find someone to raid. As always, keep coding, keep growing, keep building those skills. Coding is every day. Code is what you want. Build those, develop your skills in anything. Keep yourself safe, keep yourself sane. Love yourself. Have a beautiful day, and you're welcome back anytime. I'm gonna find someone to raid. If you would like to recommend someone to raid, just let me know. And we can do that. But I'm going to try and keep it in game dev, English, Unity. Those are the things I'm looking for. But as always, have a beautiful day, my friends.